Hey, Abby and Dewdrops.
I'm a born Jamaican, I'm a son of the soil. I love the sea, I love the sun, Lord, I love this land.
Hey, how you doing?
No matter where I go,
Good.
Jamaica is my home. I love the girls,
Coconut water and white rum. Some people say they are going away. Welcome, happy independence, my fellow Jamaicans. Jamaican, I'm a son of the soil. You see my colors. Love this land. No matter where I go, Jamaica is my home. I love the girls, coconut. I love the girls, coconut water. You know what I mean? Well, today is the 6th of August. Happy anniversary. 56 years of independence. Jamaica. What can I say? Please share this video. Some people say they are going away. Hey. Let's talk independence today. Let's celebrate independence. Let's talk about it. And what do you think about you know? Everywhere I go, Jamaica is mine. Do you notice that every time we talk about Jamaica, I talk about Ocherios? You guys remember those days, festival songs, Cherry O Baby? Well, this is one of my favorite. Always have to come back to the base. But I'm not having any white rum today. I'm having some red wine. So I'm asking everybody today who is coming on, we're going to cheers to Jamaica at some point, and we're going to have a shake, you know? We say cheers. What are you going to have? Red wine, white wine, coconut water, or some rum? Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, well, good evening, and how are you today? I hope you're well. Today is the 56th independence for Jamaica, the land of my birth. So I thought, what is best but to do a show on Jamaica? But also I thought about it as well, that let's do a talk about independence and what really is independent. Are we independent? You know, are we being independent? Are we in the process of being independent? You see, Brexit, the UK is seeking independence as well. Many people say Jamaica is not independent, but it'd be good to hear what you have to say. But most importantly, I think it's also very crucial that we have this sort of discussion. I always believe that it's good to have discussions, whether... Let me just play a song for those who are coming on. I love the sea, I love the sun, Lord, I love this land. Hi, Toysa. Jamaica is my home. I love the girls, coconut water and white rum. Hey, happy independence to you, Lorna. Nathan, hey. Now, for those who don't know and those who may not be Jamaicans, today is Jamaica Independence Day, so I'm having a talk on independence with Mark Renaissance Cameron, you know. But I'm playing one of those music which is of a legacy. When we grew up in Jamaica, we love these songs. So many people love this song, you know. Remind me of home. We used to wake up and listen to festival songs. I gotta keep playing it. Jamaica, I'm a son of the soil. I love the sea, I love the Lord, I love this land. No matter where I go, Jamaica is my home. I love the girls, coconut is done white rum. Born Jamaican, I'm a son of the soil. I love the sea, I love the Lord, I love this land. No matter where I go, Jamaica is my home. Coconut water and white rum. Coconut water. Okay, well, ladies and gentlemen, well, good evening, and thank you for joining in. And I'll pause the music for now before Facebook gets a bit very shirty with me. Facebook is clamping down on a lot of free speech, a lot of free discussions. Facebook is getting very. The funny thing about Facebook is that in order for Facebook to do these things, they got to have persons inside Facebook who have a certain mentality, of a certain disposition, of a certain political affiliation, and then they actually somewhat censor or somewhat actually ban music, ban talks, and all those other things which doesn't fit into their narrative. So therefore, it's very important that we create our own as much as possible. I keep saying that word, create our own. But anyhow, as I said, today I want to talk about Jamaica independence and the fact that we're 56 years of independence. And we just have a very casual conversation with Mark Renaissance Cameron from the States. We're going to do a link up live from Florida and Jamaica, UK, and the UK. We're just going to be open, not going to be political correct, just going to say it as it is and just have a chat. I'm looking for your interaction as well, looking forward to hear what you guys got to say. And yeah, Mark Renaissance Cameron, how are you doing, sir?
I'm great.
You're great. Somehow we're not seeing your eyes. We're only seeing your mouth drinking. Are you?
Better?
Yeah, that's much better. Good evening, Mark. How are you doing?
Yeah.
Well, what time is it there in the States?
It's 4 o'clock.
It's 4 o'clock. Oh wow, we didn't time it right then.
Past 4.
A little bit past 4. Okay, we got 9 o'clock here in the UK. Well, sir, happy independence to you.
Okay.
Yes. When I say that to some Jamaican, they say, "Really?"
Well, I mean, we have to look on the real meaning of the word independence.
Yes.
To be independent, for instance, if you're living at home, if your youngster is living with you at home,
yes,
your youngster is dependent on you.
Yeah.
When your child leaves the home, they're on their own and they are independent of you.
That's correct.
Jamaica is not independent. I'm a pre-independence baby, okay?
Yeah.
I was born in 1961. I'm 56 years old. So it's ironic that you have someone talking about lack of independence who was born in 1961. I'm now 57 years old.
Yes.
Jamaica has been independent for 56 years old, for 56 years.
Yes.
And the more independent we are supposed to be, is the more dependent we have become. So it is not a celebration for me it's not for me to celebrate Jamaica's independence when we're still dependent.
Yes.
What I have done is I am celebrating those who made it possible for us to be independent. I celebrate our heroes. I celebrate the people that have sacrificed not only their financial wealth, but their lives to improve the lot of Jamaica and
And
Jamaicans.
but you're talking about in the process of being independent, because you said you're celebrating the lives
Right.
of those who made us independent, but at the same time you say we are not independent.
Right. I mean, it's almost like an oxymoron. I mean, it's you're saying, okay, we're independent, but we're not.
Yes.
We are independent in the context of having the opportunity to be
Yes.
independent. And I'll give you another example. Uh, Education opens doors.
Yes.
It gives you the opportunity to do well financially and to be financially viable.
Yes.
If you do not use the education that you have to better yourself,
Mm-hmm.
it amounts to the same thing. It amounts to the same thing. Jamaica is, I think, even at this point, worse off than we were when we got independence, because
Yeah.
there are other factors involved. Okay, our people are not necessarily the same people that we had back then. No,
Yes.
the system of governance, which has created this sense of dependency on government in exchange for votes, has actually backfired,
Yeah.
and it has made our country, which was once a very vibrant community. We were able to do for ourselves, feed ourselves more.
Yeah.
We are now looking to government for every solution for every problem that comes our way.
Yeah.
Not realizing that we are the ones that have empowered government.
Mm.
So it's really sad because as you know, I moved back to Jamaica, having left in '79.
Yeah.
I grew up in a time of the narrative at the time was self-reliance.
Yeah.
Many of us may have good memories and
I
bad memories about
I grew up in
the
a
person that carried that narrative, which was the Honorable Michael Manley.
yeah.
Now, I'm not one to take sides. I'm very much an independent. However, and I have actually voted for both sides of the political divide. I've voted for the PNP and I voted for the JLP.
Yeah.
I'm more interested in sustainable governance. And if I don't see that, it is very hard for me to align myself with any political party that does not take into consideration who we are as Jamaicans and take it upon themselves to do as they please without a conversation with the Jamaican people.
Yeah.
And as you know, in the absence of truth, democracy cannot be realized. It should never be government doing as they please without a conversation with the Jamaican people.
Yeah.
We have not taken into consideration, I'll give you a good example. When I left in '79, you could only get mangoes in, mostly in Kingston, East Indian mangoes for that matter.
Yeah.
Kingston was the mango area. You want some good East Indian mango, you want some good Bombay mango, go to Kingston. Country, you get Hairy mango, you get number 11. and Blackie. All right. I was in Jamaica a week ago. And let me tell you this. There is every kind of mango all around Jamaica. And this is a small example. Manley got involved in the self-reliance narrative, and he started talking about that. And he pushed feeding ourselves.
Yeah.
Some people started to plant and, you know, plant trees and that type of thing. And it took almost 25 years for us to see some example of what being self-reliant is all about, doing for yourselves. And if only our people continued on a path of self-reliance, I think Jamaica would be in a better position today. And it's sad for me to see nowadays that where we have lost hope, we have lost our pride, sense of pride.
Yeah.
Everybody, almost everybody in Jamaica is a beggar. We're beggars.
Okay, let's stick a pin right there where you say that your perception is that all of Jamaicans are beggars. Beggars in the sense of how? Begging government, begging people, or waiting on expectations from massa?
Well, that too. You know, the church has its influence in Jamaica. Yeah. Jamaica has the most amount of churches per square mile than most countries in the world. We've been praying for a long time.
Yes.
Now, prayer alone, in the absence of strategic actions, will get us nowhere. God can provide, can show you the way.
Yeah.
But if you're not going to walk in the way that God has shown you, God is not going to put money into your pocket.
Yeah, yeah.
You have to go work for that. So when I say beggars, I mean, it sounds rather extreme, but if we have a government that exists on begging, if the Jamaican government does not get loans from the IMF or China or wherever, Jamaica will cease to exist as a country.
The new Minister of Finance, Nigel Clark, was talking about in a few years to get rid of the IMF. I believe under PJ Patterson, they had moved away from the IMF. Am I not correct? And therefore, the IMF is now back again in the frame, which is somewhat, many people say, a form of neo-colonialism still in operation. And before we go there, someone just said we have not lost hope, more so disappointed, but we can never lose hope. Magistral. Yeah.
Well, to understand hope, you have to look on the solutions.
Yes.
Now, I can be as hopeful as I want. Hopeful is idle talk.
Yes.
Hoping without any practical solutions doesn't mean anything to me.
Yes.
I'm talking here today because I have hope. I have hope because I see. I can be as hopeful as I want. Hopeful is idle talk.
Yeah. Yes.
I see hope. I see a silver lining in the dark clouds. Okay.
Yes.
I see it. And it is most frustrating for me because knowledge can be a burden. If you have an idea of what needs to be done and it's as clear as day and is not being done, it's a burden to you because you're not able to effect change.
Yeah. Yeah.
So while we talk and we pray and we bring in new consultants and at millions of dollars every year, Jamaica is getting less and less independent because what we're doing is we're liquidating our assets to appear relevant.
Yeah.
We embark on these high profile projects.
Yes.
That one who left Jamaica in 1979, if we were to go back today, would think, oh my God, we are doing really well.
Mm.
And I would say that it would appear that we're doing very well. Now, well to me is relative. Well to me is relative.
Mm.
Because I believe one of my fundamental beliefs is collective rising. If we don't rise together as a country, and only some of our citizens do well, then it doesn't matter. It really does not matter. We have actually witnessed the complete decline of the Jamaican middle class.
So
The middle class.
Yeah. Sorry. Finish.
The middle
Finish
class.
middle class.
Yeah, the middle class have actually almost evaporated. Actually, not evaporated. They've actually migrated.
Mm.
They've migrated to greener pastures, so to speak.
Mm.
Which is why diaspora vote. A diaspora vote is so important. What we have in Jamaica now is you have government who collects taxes or gets money from the asset liquidation, who are aligned with those who need from government. The middle class took care of their own, took care of themselves. They didn't need government. So now you have the needy and the government. And what separates the government from the country's resources are the votes from those who need. So you have this diabolical arrangement between the needy and government, who gives them the authority to do with Jamaica's assets as they please. So, and this is my opinion, however it can be clearly researched. I'm not just saying things off the top of my head. I think if one were to research the progress of Jamaica, yes, we look good. We have new shiny buildings given to us by the courtesy of the Chinese. Have we asked ourselves, what did they get in return? I thought the days of colonialism was out.
Yeah.
But it reminds me of this, what I call a Trojan horse philosophy of the Chinese government, where they offer governments who are in need of relevance, shiny objects, new roads, new, in some cases, irrelevant projects.
Yeah.
And the government, they're in such need of relevance. They take these projects without the ability. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Somebody call over. Yeah, they take projects without the ability to pay for them. And what happens is that the government, the Chinese investors would say, okay, we know you can't pay, and they knew this going in. Just give us this and that. And, so we have no choice. So they get the best properties that we have in Jamaica. If Jamaicans were given the same opportunities as our government has given other outside foreign entities, I believe that Jamaicans would be more empowered.
Okay, let's take a pin right there. Let's talk about 2 points which you flagged up a while ago. And it's one about the diaspora vote, right? The diaspora vote is something which has been talking about for years. And I've been involved with that from the diaspora conferences. Mr. Alan Sewell just said here, the diaspora vote is important. Exactly. But the government don't want to give us that right to have a say in the running of Jamaica. If we have a vote, we would vote tactically based on how we measure accountability we see abroad. Now,
absolutely
Huh?
Absolutely, because we have no, we aren't, we're not looking for anything from government but
Yes.
good governance.
Yes.
I mean, seriously, I mean, you know the deal.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have so many friends who'd love to go back to Jamaica.
Yeah.
They'd love to go back to Jamaica, and they've always, you've seen my posts on Facebook about the beautiful places that I go to in Jamaica. I mean, the rivers and the different areas that, you know, and the people.
Yes.
You know, our people are our greatest resources, and they're underutilized, boss.
Mm.
And it saddens me that our people have been we've created this dependency, and it has not allowed the best of us to shine. You know, when with, with the correct process in place,
Yeah. Yeah.
Jamaicans shine. Jamaicans shine.
Where do you think? Where do you think this dependency syndrome sort of came from, and it has been propagated, it has been developed? Is it from a, a socialism mentality? I mean, the capitalist thinks about every man for
Um,
themselves.
okay, let's be clear on socialism.
Yes.
Most countries today are democratic socialists.
Yes.
Most countries, including yours truly, including in the UK where you are.
Yeah.
Um, you have socialized medicine. You have a lot of amenities that are based on the principle of socialism. Socialism has been demonized by those who wanted to align socialism with communism,
Mm.
a socialist state. Now, as you know, there are two sides. There's complete socialist and capitalist.
Mm.
Jamaica in the 70s embarked on democratic socialism,
So the Michael Manley.
which did not, which Michael Manley did not frown on capitalism. What he advocated was more equity, more more a
Justice.
concern about the labor force. And as you know, if you don't have a successful labor force, they will not be able to afford your product as a capitalist.
Yeah.
So my fundamental philosophy is collective rising. I'm not saying, however, that people should be rewarded if they're not qualified to be in certain positions. For instance, I'll give you another example of what I'm talking about, and as it relates to the government. In Jamaica, most political parties reward loyal supporters with government positions,
Boards
regardless of their knowledge
and
and
ability.
their education. Right. Last week we had a serious problem with the Riverton dump.
Mm.
Now, when the other party was in power, Andrew Holness said that the reason why we're having fires at the dump is because of inept governance. Now, it is beyond me that with that being our guide, with that history, how can someone go in a new administration, allow the same problems as we've had before?
Mm.
And the reason is what I just told you before. They reward people who are party loyalists with positions that they are not able to take care of. I'm not into the garbage disposal business, but I'll tell you this. If I were put in charge of the Riverton dump, with the kind of money that's floating around in Jamaica now, I would have that place secure.
Mm.
I would have it secure. I would have cameras so that we do not have unauthorized persons going into the dump and starting fires.
Yeah.
And to politicize it. Because people will go in there and start a fire to embarrass Mr. Holness.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is. The priority of both political parties is to score points against each political party to get access to Jamaica's resource, not necessarily to serve the Jamaican people, but to have access to the resources so they can divvy it up among themselves.
So hold on.
That is the study.
Yeah. So what you're saying, the essence of politics in Jamaica now, the access to resources, access to power, is for feeding the fatted calf.
Absolutely. Absolutely, because the results are there to see.
Yeah.
If you would like to stop corruption, you stop it. You stop it by the process you put in place. In other words, I would like to see a government. Boss, we are the smartest people you could imagine. I mean, I've seen something that Jamaicans have done. And I'm thinking, oh my God, why can't the government put a process in place that only allows people who care about Jamaica to serve? Why is it? Anyone can put a process in place where we have a system of checks and balances that no one can give a contract out to anyone unless the proper procedure is in place and the proper vetting is in place to prevent anyone in that who has the authority over that particular area of government to profit from that. That has not taken place, sir. It has not taken place.
Someone says
so. It tells me.
Yeah. Go on.
It tells me that there's the willingness is not there on the part of the Jamaican government, successive governments, to ensure that there's no corruption. There's no system in place to prevent it.
Okay, so we set the stage now. We're going to go back into the whole essence of independence. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming on tonight on The Late One with myself, with Mark Renaissance Cameron from the United States of America, Jamaican original. We're both Jamaicans. I've been playing my song, I'm a born Jamaican, I'm a son of the soil. I've played it before. If you hang on to the end, I'll play it again. We're talking about independence and 56 years of independence, how really independent we are. The perception from Mark and the views of many as well is that it is a form of fun time, but not really of anything of substance. Am I correct by saying that, Mark? It's more of a fun thing, not a substance thing, not something of substance.
No, you know, independence celebrations are for those who are not aware of the gravity of the entire Jamaican situation. Yes, you know, I like to hang out with my friends and have a good time once in a while, and I do party a lot. I'm not a you know, some prude who doesn't enjoy a good time. But I mean, you have to look on where we are. There's nothing to celebrate, and we spend millions of dollars putting colors on trees and all that kind of stuff, and then the next day we're broke again. We just spend millions doing absolutely nothing. Creating this farce.
Yeah, but
we're not independent.
Yeah, but Mark, but at the same time, 1962, yes, Jamaica became independent. Yeah, 1962, Jamaica took down the flag of the Union, Britain, and they hoisted the flag of Jamaica. And for many people, that is a sense of the process of independence, becoming independent. I mean, we're seeing the UK now with the whole Brexit factor. When the Brexit vote was done in 2016, Nigel Farage said, Independence Day, finally we are independent. So even the UK now is somewhat seeking this level of independence. Should we say then, instead of saying we're independent or Jamaica is independent, it is going through the process of being independent? I was with the Jamaica High Commissioner yesterday at my function at the Victoria Mutual, the Jamaica Basic School thing with the Solution Oriented Summit. And he touched on the Vision 2030 to say Jamaica to become a fully fledged first world country, fully self-reliant by Vision 2030. Could it not be put, and I'm putting this to you now, that it is a process of being independent than saying, bam, 1962, we are independent, but it's a process. I show that one out.
My dear sir, it's been 56 years.
Yes.
Many of our hard-working, I have a headmaster from Jamaica College, Mr. Ruel Taylor.
Yes.
Who, when I look on these patriots and these nation builders, like Mr. Ruel Taylor and Mr. Arthur Edgar from Calabar High School, who I was fortunate to go to both schools. And I see the sacrifice they have made. Mr. Taylor was a mathematician. Yes. He could have done anything that he wanted to do. I mean, a very, very bright man. And when I look at all of our the generation before who had so much hope for our country, they died as very sad people because they have not realized, with all the work they put in, they have not, the Jamaica they envisioned has not been realized in 56 years. A lot of people live only for 30 years, and 40. 56 is a long time, brethren. Long time that. So, everybody has a new buzzword, okay? There is my time now. Yes. Our time. Power for the people. Vision 20 this, Vision 20 that.
Black man time.
Yes, excuse my my cynicism, for lack of a better word. But too much talk, brethren. Time for action right now. And how you, if you want to impress me by allowing us to exercise the education we've had to empower our country. There are many Jamaicans who are skilled craftsmen in engineering, who went to CAST, went to UWI, who learned how to be engineers. Pay them the money. Give them the money for what they've been taught to do what they studied. Yes. Why are we had a train line in Jamaica. We had a functional train line in Jamaica. And I was fortunate enough to take the train back in the early 70s. Yeah. We used to go through solid rock stone bars, going through hills, tunnels, built by Jamaicans, built by our forefathers. Yes. Our forefathers and mothers with pickaxe. Not the kind of technology we have today. And you're gonna tell me now that we can't build some simple roads along highway going through flat sugarcane land? Come on, man. Give the Jamaican people a chance. Yeah. But there has to be the process, because we also have been our worst enemies. We have taken money from the government and not delivered. Yes. So we have people who are not accountable for the work they got from the government, and they just don't produce, and all is well. I didn't do the road that we are supposed to. Yeah. Slap in the boots and go home. No, brethren. If you take our money and you don't do the road to the proper specs, you will not only be fined, you will be imprisoned because you have breached public trust. But they can't do that because the people that they give this type of work to are their own friends. Right. So nothing happens. Nothing happens. Water under the bridge. And the Jamaican people suffer. You broke your axle, mash up your car trying to avoid a pothole, lick another man. You know how many people have died? The amount of people that have died because of corruption. you have to look on a couple of things. It's a trickle-down thing, okay? Look at it from a safety aspect. If someone does a road with government funds and it's done improperly, and in 2 2s you have a big pothole, somebody tries to avoid the pothole and kills an innocent pedestrian, because instead of putting 3 inches of barber green, he paints it on at about a ½ an inch and takes the rest to fix projects on his own projects at our expense. People have died. If you have persons that are not educated properly, educated in relevant education, who see no hope, they turn to crime. Crime, you have deaths that come from crime and all the other ills that you have because of corruption. The person that has to sit at the end of each store to check off what you have supposedly bought, the person who owns that store is not going to lose any money. So we, the consumers, have to pay for that guard that is at that door to watch that product. So there are a variety of ways that corruption affects us collectively. And what I expect from the government.
And what we spoke about today is about these 35 goats. The 35 goats which someone stole, which is a classic example of the livelihood of someone or a few persons, which is very devastating. I don't know if, ladies and gentlemen, if you have seen about 35 or 37 goats which were found in a car when they were impounding the car. I think
2 died.
Terrible.
2 died. Two of the goats died.
Yeah, 2 died. Yes.
No, 3 died. Well, one was struggling to live, and the other. I mean, many years ago, you know, when my father was a police officer in the 51 storm, he was, he was a policeman before independence. In 1951, he was a police officer, and during the 51 storm, he was chasing some guys in his Land Rover who stole a cow. Now, can you imagine one police officer in a Land Rover going after some man who stole a cow?
So the man walking with the cow? With the cow?
No. They butchered the cow, and they took it they took it in a lorry.
Okay, right.
And he was dispatched to go after these people who butchered the cow.
Yes.
He was able to get them because the road was impassable, and he actually slept in a mausoleum for the whole night because of the you couldn't pass on the road because it was so horrible. But the amount of resources that they put back then to investigate crimes did not allow others to attempt it because the resources were there. Crime prevention and crime investigation was a top priority of the colonial government.
Yes.
And things were a lot different. It is different now because I've had a couple incidents where, you know, to get any justice, you have to actually almost pay off a policeman to help you out, you know. Yeah. It's like, I cannot say that about all police officers because I've had some interactions with some really quality officers who try to do the very best that they can.
Yeah.
And, you know, they get a bad name from the few that do not do their jobs and are corrupt.
Yes. Now, one of the things that someone said, and just talking about the whole thing with the whole corruption thing, and they talked about what they said, the system that allows politicians from serving more than 2 terms in office. Career politicians are one of the banes of our political system. Career politicians are self-serving and are like leeches on the Jamaican economy that do very little to help Jamaicans and the Jamaican society for which they were elected to serve. Do you feel, or do you see, or you have the view, and ladies and gentlemen, I put that out there to you as well, and I think you sort of alluded to this, Mark, that somehow the government is not operating as if they are servants of the people, but more like...
No, they're there to be served. No, they're there to be served. They're there to be served.
The government is there to be served.
Right. I look on the government right now as almost like a monarchy.
Yes.
They hand out MPs as just as they hand out knighthoods.
Yes.
Knighthoods are MPs. You have persons who are selected to run in different parishes that are not there. They're not even a part of the community.
Yeah.
They have no, I mean, people are just placed into areas because they carry the government, the party's language, and not the language of the people that they intend to serve.
So the MPs are imposed upon the people then, to an extent.
No, the MPs serve the party. They don't serve the people of Jamaica.
Yes, so they're imposed on the people. They give, based on the loyalty to the parties, then they are imposed upon the people in the different constituencies.
Right, because first of all, the delegate system is a joke.
Yeah.
Any delegate can collude and decide who they're going to select to run for that party. If you're trying to impress an independent like myself, have an open vote of all who seek to represent Manchester or St. Elizabeth. Have an open vote and let the people decide who they want to represent them.
But listen,
but Mark, Jamaicans have no choice. They have no choice.
Mark, I'm in the political system in the UK here. I'm a part of a constituency. I stood for office a few times in the UK. The persons who are chosen to run for a constituency, which the constituents can actually comprise of 20, 30,000 people. But the persons who choose these prospective parliamentary candidates could be around 20 or 30 people. And these 20 or 30 people from the political party machinery will choose someone, and that person will go and start knocking on doors and say, I am your candidate for the Conservative, I'm your candidate for the Labour, I'm your candidate for the Lib Dem. And people are going to say, but hang on a second, where did you come from? I never had a say in that. It's the same thing, isn't it? They're called the delegates. That's the thing with the whole Westminster.
You know something? You know something? Let me say this to you.
Yeah.
I always vet everything that comes my way.
Yeah.
I vet everything. We have to think for ourselves. We have to look on the political system as a blank slate, okay?
Yeah.
You ask yourselves, what's the most just way to appoint someone to represent your constituency?
Mm.
The best way to prevent collusion and the 30 people getting together to decide who to run.
Yes.
They may have their own agenda that is not in sync with the agenda of the 30,000 that you're talking about.
Yes.
The best and the most transparent way to get a good candidate is to have an open vote by all those who seek leadership, and have the people decide who is going to represent them. This is backward. This is outdated, my brother. It's outdated. You have to look on things as they are. This is 2018.
Mm.
The ideas from 1920 or 1950 or 61, they're different than it is today. We know better. We know now that there are chemicals that were okay back in the 60s for pesticides,
yes,
that are banned today. They're banned today because we now know better. Asbestos was okay back in the 50s. It's not okay today because we know better. We know that the system has failed us, so we know better to make the change.
But Mark,
it's as simple as that.
But Mark, it is simple saying this. But you see, what is happening is that the system is sort of controlled in a way whereby even in the UK now, the first past the post system is one which many are questioning, because right now in the UK they're saying there's no one actually is taking up a particular ground to actually speak up for the people to a certain extent, because they're feeling that the Labour Party have their own thing going, the Conservative have their own thing going. So now you're having people talking about forming or creating these new political parties, because the same historical political machinery, which you just mentioned about, is still in operation. And the same thing which is happening in Jamaica there is the same thing which is also happening in the UK. And I put that to you.
It's happening. Guess what? It's happening in America as well. I mean, yeah. Let's think about it.
Yes.
America has oil. America has oil. Guess what? I put some gas in my car today. It's $3.20.
Yes.
Now, corporations who control the government, they have decided that the oil belongs to them.
Yes.
And we get just the taxes from it. A corporation will drill in Alaska, take out American oil, and sell it at market value.
Yes.
One of the reasons why they hated Chavez was because Chavez would sell the oil at cost. You'd buy oil in Venezuela for 12 cents a gallon because it belongs to them. And then they sell the oil on the market at fair market value. That comes back to the people. So in other words, corporations who run governments carry the narrative that best suits them and not the people that they intend to serve.
Yes.
So the system is rigged, bro. I mean, it sounds like a famous thing that the old leader here says. Trump talks about being rigged. It really is rigged. I mean, it is rigged in most countries. Even your country is rigged.
Yes.
So we have not empowered our people by giving them the opportunity to be truly independent. We have not. Jamaica will only be independent if all Jamaicans take responsibility for the actions of their government, if they are legitimately a part of the government. The government is a separate entity that does what it pleases to do without consultation with the Jamaican people.
Right.
Another example is that there's a system in Jamaica called NEDS, right?
That's the ID section.
This new identity. Yeah. When Mr. Holness ran for election, he never campaigned about that. What he campaigned about was fixed election dates.
Yes.
I have yet to see any talk about fixed election dates.
Yes.
No talk about it. And NEDS came up just out of nowhere. Yes. I'm not saying that a practical way, a practical process should not be in place to ensure that all Jamaicans are recognized. Okay? Yes. At this point, you cannot travel without a birth certificate, which is a viable and a concrete way of determining somebody's, who this person is.
Yes.
There are processes in place today that offer proper identification. Is that a priority at this point in Jamaica? We are not producing, sir. We're not producing. The money we spend to do all these fancy things do not help the bottom line. What's the point of being recognized as being broke? How does that put money in my pocket? Yeah, okay, I'm now Mr. So-and-so, but I'm still broke. You're using my money.
Right.
You're spending billions of my money because I need to be recognized. No, yeah. I need a process in place to allow me to empower myself and to become independent of you.
Right.
I should not be having any conversation with my MP outside of how are you and hope all is well. Yes. I don't need anything from my MP. My MP and I know my MP very well in Manchester, Peter Bunting. When I see Peter Bunting, all I do is hey, how you doing? Hope all is well. And I talk about my concerns about the water supply in Mandeville, which I talk about all the time. And I'm done. But it's nothing relating to Mark Cameron. Can I get something from you? And what can you do for me? What I'm asking for from my MP is what every citizen needs, basics. We need water, we need security, proper roads, and electricity.
Yes.
And leave us the hell alone. I don't need to talk to you.
Well, one thing I can say though is that in comparison to Jamaica, how the council work and how because the council system in Jamaica as councillors is the same thing that marries in the UK. The MP is the same thing that is married in the UK. But I never see whereby people go to MPs over here to get to bury, to get money and all those other things, because anything that happens like that, they would be actually struck off, if anything. And I believe one of the things,
there's something called the. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I believe, Mark, what you're talking about, it is something which is so crucial. But there's a term which I did in an article years ago: bankruptcy of the wills fuel crime. That was dealing with an issue when I wrote an article in the paper many years ago. I think it was P.J. Patterson was the Prime Minister and Peter Phillips was the Minister of National Security. We're talking about crime, and the word was bankruptcy of the wills fuel crimes. And what we are seeing here now is a bankruptcy of the will to actually allow the accountability, bankruptcy of the will to allow the transparency, bankruptcy of the will for the responsibility, whereby the people can somewhat feel that they are in charge. I've been to conferences sometimes in Jamaica, diaspora conference, speaking to someone and an MP passed, and it's like God just passed through, man. God literally passed through. Over here, you could be in the House of Commons there, and you see MPs just walking past and blah, 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 David Cameron, and it's no big deal. And I think that is something.
It's no big deal because of the mindset of the Jamaican people. They look on the MP in Jamaica as gods.
Yes.
You have to also understand the impact of slavery.
Yes.
And the colonialism as it relates to the Jamaican experience. We have been programmed to believe that Massa is our savior. He provides all for us.
Yes, yes.
And unfortunately, the political system has been designed to carry that narrative. That government, your success is based on government. And I think government has, the biggest employer in Jamaica is government.
Yes.
Now, you're a smart guy. You've done a measure of accounting. When you make this, you can't spend this.
Yes.
Okay? Doesn't add up. You have to produce this first to allow the spending of this.
Yes.
So what they've done is that the system, the people that are run the country have really they've looked on Jamaica as, okay, it's almost like a kid in a candy store.
Yes.
It's our resources, not the people's resources. And that is one of the reasons why they're able to, at free will,
yes,
make deals with different governments and different organizations to give them this or that in exchange for this, without a conversation with the Jamaican people. No, I'm not saying that you should micromanage everything and have the citizens involved in every aspect of government. I'm not, because that would bog things down.
Yeah.
But can we have some conversation about where we're going as a country? If we are going to be a tourist destination, are we doing or taking the proper steps to ensure that our environment is clean, that is going to attract tourists? No, we're not having that conversation. Once again, we've seen the gullies filled with filth and garbage going out into the sea.
Yeah.
Now, how can you promote yourself as a tourist destination if you are not taking care of the issues that cause that type of pollution?
Yeah.
And the answer is quite clear. You talked about the political will, which is what you talked about.
Yes.
The people who are voting for these MPs, the MPs are concerned about upsetting them. So if you have persons who are squatting along the gully side, which you know is wrong, there's no infrastructure there to facilitate the waste disposal and proper amenities.
Yes.
If you talk about squatting, you are going to marginalize, you are going to upset a lot of people who are squatting.
Yes.
Those are your votes. Those are your votes. So recently I had a conversation with an MP about coming together with the JLP and to have core values in place,
Yes.
core direction that cannot be politicized.
Yes.
For instance, if it is in the best interest of Jamaica to have people who are on the gully side removed, no political party shall use that to stir the pot and to get votes from those who do not want to move in the interest of the Jamaican people.
Mm.
So, Jamaica is a perfect storm for failure. There are too many variables that are in place that is preventing our country to do well. We have so much. One of the things someone said to me this morning, and she said that she would hate. This is a very bright person I was talking to you about.
Yes.
Very, very bright person. She said to me, she would hate to go to her grave and to have on her stone where they say she had so much potential.
Mm.
That's pretty deep, bro. That's pretty deep.
Mark.
Jamaica.
Yeah.
Jamaica. Think about it. Jamaica, we have the people.
Yes.
Who are underutilized. We have the most beautiful and most diverse environment in the Caribbean region.
Yes.
We have aggregates out of St. Thomas that are the amount of money they're making out of those aggregates. Forget bauxite. Bauxite is idiot thing compared to the aggregates they're getting.
Yeah.
We have, a mountain that's 7,402 feet. We have low-lying lands for agriculture. I mean, we have not moved away from sugarcane. Come on, man, we're not selling sugar. Well, we can't plant cassava. Yeah. Look at all the bushing out, the money we spent on bushing out, the billions of dollars on bushing out. Plant some damn cassava, man.
Yeah.
Make your own flour. Do for yourself.
Yeah.
But no one is stepping up to a leadership role to put these things in place and to stick with it, regardless of the hardships involved, because you have to work to get paid, brethren.
Mark,
you can't just have things like that.
Do you think that politicians are not visionaries looking for in the future, far down? They're looking in a 5-year span, seeking to maintain the status quo, seeking to win the next election.
I think most of their energy is about the next election.
Yes.
And I'll give you a parallel, a very simple parallel that most people can realize or take on. What is the color of your shirt?
I'm wearing my Jamaican shirt, black. Black with some.
Well, from my screen, I say green. From my screen, as a Calabar old boy as well, I say green and black.
Yeah, well, yeah. Okay, green and black, yeah.
Okay. No. Let me tell you something about green and black. You see, Calabar is the fastest high school in the world.
Yes.
Do you know why they're the fastest high school in the world?
Mm.
You cannot get on the 100-meter sprint team just based on being selected.
Yeah.
You have to earn your way on the team. You go through the development meets, the different ISA-related events.
Yes.
The Grace Jackson events and those type of things.
Yes.
And that weeds out the very best athletes from Calabar to go on the world stage.
Yes.
All right. Now, if only we could use the same process or a similar process.
Yeah.
That allows the best Jamaicans to lead our country, Jamaica would be in a much better place today.
Yeah.
But the system of wait your turn politics, wait your turn politics is what allows us to get the leadership we now have.
Yeah.
Wait your turn. I don't think Peter Phillips is the best candidate for the PNP today.
Yeah.
Peter Phillips is a nice gentleman. I've met him before. He's not the perfect person for that job. Put it out to the people. You know, put it out to the people, not delegates. Put it out to people who understand what the country needs to move forward.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that that Andrew Holness is the best candidate either. I'm not saying that. Is there a process in place that allows the people to decide if he should be the leader or not? Is the process the best process?
Right.
Is it? It's a question. It's a question.
Well. You know what can I say is that until one changes the political structure, the Westminster system is the one which is actually constraining Jamaica at this present moment. The delegate system, as I said before, is the same thing which is operating in the UK as well, right? But unlike the UK and Jamaica, there's a very strict and very firm way in dealing with transparency and accountability with public officials, where they will just struck them down immediately. You can't have this way whereby people can actually give lots of donation and all those sort of things, you know. It is structured, you know, and that is one of the things which is capturing it. I want to just quickly move on this point because someone said, "Good afternoon, SYLBOURNE Sidale, Mark Renaissance Cameron. Happy 56 years to every single Jamaican worldwide." And that is a message which is going around. Happy. I get a lot of these look of pictures. I'm not so much of a sentimental person with these things, you know, but I believe in the sense of being politically correct that I should actually put one out. But listen, many people see this occasion, Mark, as one not just about the independence, but about the national heroes, the Marcus Garvey, the Sam Sharp, Paul Bogle, George William Gordon, Nanny, Manley, Bustamante. So there's and the lady earlier, Magistrate Raw, talked about the hope factor. How doesn't that play a fundamental role in the whole aspect of independence as well? Even though we may seem that Jamaica is not independent in the sense of real independence. Leave them yard, gone out, and now to come back a yard. Many people are actually...
Well, when you're on death row, you see, all you have is hope.
Yeah.
But you will be executed. You will be executed. Okay? You can pray all you want, but generally speaking, you are going to be executed.
Yes.
Hope is a start. That's all it is. It's a start. You need an effective process in place. Because first of all, you have to hope before you can move things forward.
Yes.
If there's no hope, then there's no way.
It's a passion.
Now,
it's a motivating factor. Yes.
Right. Hoping is the fuel.
Yes.
That allows the process to move forward. You move forward by faith.
Yes.
By faith in the process you put in place to ensure success. Until I see the process that will allow the change we need, then hope is not enough for me. Hope is not enough for me. I'm still saddened at where we are as a people, and that is not that is not going to change. Show me what you plan to do to change how things are. Do not tell me how bad the other party was.
Yes.
Every 5 years, Jamaica changes political parties because of how bad the other one was, not because of the process they put in place. I went to a constituency meeting a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
The first time ever been to a constituency meeting, and I heard some wonderful things. You know, I heard lick them with the pioneer core, lick them with the housing trust. No Boston, not there again. And I'm thinking, wow, you know, that was like a serious thing to carry at the time. I mean, you know, these guys are, you know, self-reliance and all the kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where have we gone since those things came out? The PNP need a new song. The PNP need a new song, brethren, because that stuff, Jamal and all them thing, they're gone. This is 2018.
Yes.
Tell me why I should support you over the existing party today. We got rid of the PNP because you were a horrible party. You were a horrible government. The only reason why the JLP is in power today is because you were horrible. And the only reason why the JLP got kicked out before because they were horrible.
Yes.
Not because they had some grand idea of what they're planning to do. No. So we have to be honest with ourselves. We have to be honest with ourselves, boss.
So what is happening?
We can't just
So what is happening then is people are voting out the bad, but not recognizing that because the bad is what is before them. But the alternative is not that better, really. That's what you're saying.
You are only concerned about the bad that is before you,
yes,
than the potential of the bad to come.
Yes.
Okay? What you see is what you feel. If a man pinch you now, you're going to sort him out because that's what he's the one that's pinching you today.
Yes, yes.
This man who may pinch you tomorrow may never come. We have to deal with what's going on today. So people act on what is going on today.
Yes.
The pain and suffering they feel. And I've said this before. I said, you know, pain influences change. And the only way Jamaica is really going to take the necessary change is when they're in that much pain. And I don't think the Jamaican people recognize the problems ahead. As a person who has traveled and I've seen things objectively, I see it. But when people are there trying to survive, trying to put food on their table today and tomorrow, some are, you know, most Jamaicans don't even vote, you know, and which is one of the reasons why I believe the system that we have in place has created this huge block of persons who have given up on Jamaica. They don't believe either party is going to change anything. And what can I be wrong about that? Nothing has changed. I mean, and I dare anyone that say this to me or dispute what I'm telling you, that which is factual. Most MPs that go into Jamaica that are broke today, they come out rich. And if I'm lying, prove me wrong. So if I'm lying, prove me wrong.
Okay, well, somebody will come back to you and prove you right or wrong. More than likely, they're going to prove you right.
I wish you all the best of that.
Yeah.
By the way, cheers to you, brother. Cheers to you.
Yes. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're having a glass of wine. And cheers to Jamaica. Happy independence. Tongue in cheek. You know, cheers, right? Yeah.
Cheers to the possibility of independence.
Cheers to the possibility of independence. Mark, a third party.
And cheers to our heroes.
Yes, cheers to our heroes.
Okay.
A third party. Is there any scope? I mean, right now the UK is talking about creating some wave of different parties they're talking about, because people are fed up, frustrated. A third party in Jamaica. What is the potential for that? Is there the need for that?
Jamaicans, okay, no, okay. Well, for the sake of transparency, I was involved in the United Independent Congress, which is a third-party option that we have in Jamaica.
Yes.
I was also vice president of the organization, and Mr. Joseph Paddison, who you might know, he ran as an independent candidate. I also spoke with him about being aligned with either of the political parties, and because I know the problems in trying to start a third party.
Yeah.
And he was very emphatic about what he said. He said, Mark, I do not want to join the problem. I would like to fix the problem. And if you cannot fix the problem by joining them. I am hopeful. This is, I'm still a member of the organization, but at the same time, I want Jamaica to work in the fastest track possible to work in, to get into the point where we can make things change, make a change that we need. Yeah. If either political party aligns themselves with the policies that we have put in place, which is a complete transparency in government. First of all, we do not believe that we need 63 MPs at over $700 million a year that we are not even producing as a country. We also have 240 parish councillors. Yet I don't have adequate water in Mandeville, and intermittent light and bad roads. I've seen some improvement recently. Yeah. But there is too much funds spent on government and not enough on the people. Yes. Now let me get back to your question, because I have so much things to talk about. Sometimes I go off onto something else. But let me get back to what you're talking about, which is a third party. Yeah. If Jamaicans believe that the third party is a vibe that we can win, they will vote. For the first time in the history of Jamaica, most Jamaicans are dissatisfied with both political parties. For the first time in the history of our country. Yes. So the only way that we can be successful is if we galvanize all of the independent-minded persons who seek leadership to come under the umbrella of the United Independent Congress, which has a very good system in place for governance. We are looking on, instead of having, in other words, we believe that every MP should come from the parish that they live. Yeah. That is our fundamental belief. And you cannot represent the UIC unless you're from that parish. Yeah. That needs to be changed. We believe that any person who wants to represent the United Independent Congress should be available to an open vote by all of the persons that are involved. Yes. We do not believe in delegates, because delegates can always collude. And as a matter of fact, as a political party, if successful, we would cease to exist, because we do not believe in political parties. We believe that Jamaicans should elect persons from their parish who are parish managers. Yes. If you wanted to run for Manchester, right, and I want to run, we both run. If you win, I go home, I go back to being a productive citizen, and you are now in sole control of Manchester. Anything that happens in Manchester, the buck stops with you. You have no party to blame. Yeah. You can't blame PMP, or you can't blame UIC or whatever. No, buddy. You want leadership? You're leader. Accept responsibility. And guess what? If you do a good job, you talked about term limits early on, right? You talked about term limits. If you do a good job, why would we want you to be taken out? No. If you do a good job, we would like you to continue if you so desire. Term limits came about because of the blatant corruption that is a part of the political fabric of Jamaica. So that is, and it's almost like a cry from the wilderness, like for help. Yes. You know, they throw term limits because it's a cry for help, because there's nothing in place to prevent the corruption that goes on from every government. Successive governments have their own skeletons. You have out of many, in that happened in on the PNP watch. No, you have
Yeah.
this Petrojam scandal. It never ends. It never
So
ends.
yeah. Just for point of clarification, are you saying there's term limits, or is a proposal for term limits in Jamaica?
There's a proposal. I've heard about the proposal for term
It's a
limits, but
proposal,
I
but it's
mean,
not.
there's a guy named
It's
Pernell
not.
Charles. Pernell
Okay.
Charles. Pernell Charles. Okay.
Yeah.
He's been around since I was in high school, boss. That's a long
Everybody know
serving.
Brendan
That's a
Charles.
long serving. Yeah.
And
And guess what? Guess what? His
yeah.
son is now in government. His son left the United States and came back to Jamaica. He's in government now.
Yeah.
Daryl Vaz has now
Douglas.
introduced his wife.
Oh yes.
Douglas Vaz. Okay, Douglas Vaz.
Daryl Vaz.
Okay, when I was in
Daryl Vaz,
when I was in Jamaica, I lived in Arcade. Well, I lived in Arcade. My MP at the time was Douglas Vaz, right?
yes.
Douglas Vaz's son
Yes.
is now Daryl Vaz is now MP
Yes.
for Portland.
Yeah.
I used to ride bike with Daryl Vaz in what do you call it, up in Norbrook.
Yes.
Okay. He and his brother, yeah, they used to ride bikes up there. We used to ride bikes up there with those guys.
Yeah.
No, his
Peter
wife.
Phillips. Peter Phillips as well, and Michael Phillips.
Absolutely. No, Michael was always in Kingston. He has a successful sign company.
Yes.
Most of us don't know that. Which, you know, to give it the devil his due, he has done some good things in the area of what do you call that place? In North Manchester, that Mile Gully, the Mile Gully area.
Yeah.
I went on a road there recently, and the road was you could see a lot of work being done.
Yes.
But he was a businessman. Michael was a businessman. He understands business and he knows business. So
yeah.
I wouldn't expect anything different.
Yeah.
However, these are handed down. I'm not saying he's not capable, but how do we know others are not capable as well? Who else had the opportunity to run against Michael? Delegates decide, Jamaicans lose. Delegates decide, Jamaicans lose.
So
think about that.
So what we have is a royalty system. Then we have it's a monarchy.
Which is why I said it's like a monarchy.
Okay.
Instead of handing down knights, we're handing down MPs.
Right.
Now we have back in the day when we were run by the colonial system.
Yeah.
We had what was called the executive council.
Yes.
Where you had one parish manager, one person for each parish that managed that parish. Now you're going to tell me today that the executive council, those guys are much smarter than Jamaicans that we have today? No, I don't think so. I don't think so. But what we have done is created a system that ensures that the party stays in power. Yes. The party has enough seats to stay in power. The other day when they talked about this, a similar issue about the party system and adding another MP in another parish, they said, oh, we need another MP to secure a vote. How about taking an MP out to secure the vote?
Yes.
Why add an MP? No, because it doesn't matter. They're not paying for it. The Jamaican people are paying for 63 MPs. In 2018, when in the early 50s, late 50s, we had the executive council with one person per parish. You know as well as I know, I've been in business for many years. I do several different things. The name Renaissance is not something that I call myself. It's some interviewer from Fox News that saw the different things that I did.
Yes.
That gave me that name, and it kind of stuck. I know that it doesn't require much to run a parish.
Yes.
I mean, what is there to do? You have the parish council already with 240 parish councillors. Why do we need 2 MPs for Manchester? Why? What is so busy? Why, what takes up their time are meeting with people
Yeah.
that needs something from them, needs something from the constituency fund,
Yes.
from government, not realizing that the money that they receive comes from Jamaicans who are paying taxes, who are working really hard.
Yes.
This system needs to change, sir. It needs to change, and needs to change quickly,
Well, Mark.
because our debt is going up every year.
Yes.
And we're borrowing to survive. So no, if you have to borrow to survive, Jamaica is not an independent country.
Yes.
We are a dependent country, and I cannot celebrate a system that perpetuates dependency on our people. I can celebrate my heroes, and you and I can drink.
We can drink.
To Marcus Garvey, Paul Bogle, Nanny, Sister Nanny, and all our national heroes who have made it possible for us to be independent. But we have not walked through the door of independency.
Yes.
We are still behind the door of dependency. The door is open. And I'll leave it with one more thing, because I know you got to go. But I got a lot to say.
Yeah.
There is someone did an experiment where they put an animal in a caged area.
Yes.
That was electrified. It was electrified. When that animal would touch that fence, it would get the shock.
Yes.
When they took the electricity out of that fence and even removed the fence, that animal did not go beyond that fence. So Jamaica is still in captivity based on the system of governance we have that keeps them in power and does not allow for the best of Jamaica to shine. We have the best in the world in athletics and all that kind of thing because we have the right process. We need to have the right process in place in Jamaica. Let us be leaders, man. Yeah. Stop following the Westminster people and America and all that. Be Jamaican. Embrace your Jamaicanness. There's nothing wrong with being Jamaican.
Yeah. Well,
eat cassava, eat flour. Eat cassava flour and stop by bleach flour.
Listen to this. Listen to this. Remember that song?
I'm a born Jamaican, I'm a son of the soil. I love the sea, I love the sun, Lord.
You remember when this song come out? You were in Jamaica, you were? Yeah?
Yeah, I was in Jamaica.
Jamaica is my home. I love the girls, coconut water.
Now, you see, when I listen to that song there and what we're speaking about, it conjures up a lot of memories, powerful memories.
Nostalgia.
Huh?
Nostalgia.
Yes.
Nostalgia.
And now, what I don't want us to leave with, because somebody might leave and say, wow, it is hopeless. So, somebody will leave and say, it is hopeless. We're in bondage. We're in captivity. We are not free. We are having the same monarchy system, the monarch, which we had independence from. And now we have another monarch in the form of our leaders, whereby they are not actually serving us, but actually we are serving them. Then what is that? What is that hopeful? What is that? Let's keep the word hope out of the way. What is the action which is needed? Because unless we don't have that action, Mark, 56 years times 2 is 112 years of independence.
Well, this is what we're gonna have to do, because we've talked about the problems before. We've talked about the third party option. I'm hoping to have a meeting with some of the both political parties to see if they could adopt some of the policies of the UIC. Yes. Mr. Patterson has made it very clear that if any political party decides to adopt a policy that is viable,
Yes.
we will simply walk away. We simply walk away. We're not interested in running nothing. We prefer to be with our families and and to continue our business. However, as a Jamaican who wants the best of my country,
Yes.
I have embarked on this journey with Mr. Patterson to try to make a difference. I mean, if you're going down Spurtree Hill with a man who can't drive, I'm pretty sure you're gonna jump off before he goes down that steep side.
Yes.
If you know him can't drive.
Yes.
I want my country to be driven by people who are qualified, who I can go to work and be productive and not think about government.
Yes.
I should not be having this conversation with you about. There's so many groups on Facebook about if you're PMP, GLP this, GLP that. We're all looking for a solution, and we're not seeing anything, any change.
Yes.
People, all these groups have popped up because we're fundamentally against how things are going in Jamaica.
Yes.
That's why they pop up. We're having this conversation today because things are not going right.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be doing something else. You know, it's nice and sunny here in Florida right now. I could be hanging out with my friends and merry make like what you're talking about. I wish I could celebrate Jamaica's independence in a way that I used to when I didn't know any better.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I cannot be happy while many of us are so sad, you know, and ignorance, you know, ignorance is a problem, you know.
Yeah.
Marcus Garvey look how long Marcus Garvey has talked about self-reliance and the need for our people to be empowered. Financial freedom is really that's what allows you to be free.
Yes.
If you're not financially secure, you are obviously dependent on someone else to take care of you, and that is sadly that is where we are.
Yeah.
And I hope that we, the people in governance, in government, will recognize that we are the people of William Gordon. We're the people of Paul Bogle. They haven't left us. We are descendants of these great people. We're descendants of Marcus Garvey. We're descendants of people who have led this world. We are the descendants of those.
Yes.
We're also the descendants of a couple pirates too, because we haven't been, all the pirates never get washed away in out of Port Royal. So we have to recognize the good and bad among us.
Some of them run over into Kingston. Yes.
The washer from Port Royal.
running to Kingston. Yes.
You know, so we have a mixed bag, but mostly good. Mostly good, man. I mean, I grew up in the 60s and 70s in Jamaica, and let me tell you something, man. I mean, I had such a great time, which is one of the reasons why I'm so linked to Jamaica. When I think about Jamaica, and I think about the challenges, I could have a much easier life. When I left America, I was at the height of my my career, so to speak. I mean, financially, but I couldn't wait to go back to Jamaica because of what I remembered. I mean, we didn't have much, you know. We didn't have much, but we had a sense of camaraderie among my friends, and we had the same ideas of what we wanted to be and the same goals and aspirations. And I don't see that zeal and that energy anymore among our youngsters. I have a brother in Jamaica now who's a doctor, who was born in America but moved back to Jamaica, and he's now a medical doctor. And I speak to his friends all the time, and he say, boy, I don't know how your brother staying in Jamaica because America me are going now. I hear it all the time. And it is sad because the great minds, people who are really smart, they're leaving our country, and they're leaving our country with what? You know, who's left? You know.
Well, the Chinese are coming in.
People are not there that turn.
Yeah, the Chinese are coming in. The Spanish are coming in. Asians are coming in.
Let me say this. Let me say this as well. I'm not completely against the Chinese, because any country that invests in Jamaica validates my position.
Yes.
And my position is Jamaica is a great place to invest.
Yes.
Chinaman them smart. Chinaman them smart. Them not investing in no little idiot thing.
Yes.
The fact that Chinese are in Jamaica shows me that there is some value to Jamaica.
That is a
Now
clue.
we,
That's a
however,
clue.
we have been brainwashed into believing that foreign is better than Jamaica.
Mm.
And while others who are away see more value in Jamaica than the Jamaicans that are there. Because we've been
Good.
brainwashed. Jamaicans are brainwashed into believing we're too foreign-minded, brethren.
Yeah.
I mean, how can you, like I talked about the cassava earlier. How can you eat bleached flour? Flour is not something that come out white. They have to bleach it. And you're making flour dumpling or kind of thing with the bleached flour. When we have cassava in Jamaica,
Yes.
you saying come from a place where them eat up a yam and all them thing and natural food. Which is why the man run left the whole of the man in Africa and all them places. Because you are what you eat.
Yes.
Jamaica has all that is required to make us a great country.
And I
like
think
my friend said earlier, on her gravestone, she said she doesn't want to have on her gravestone that says, boy, she had so much potential. I want Jamaica to realize her potential. And the way to do that, the way to do that is to ensure that the best of Jamaica gets a chance to lead. And I would like to inform the political parties that the backward way of time on the books is not the way to go forward. You have to vet your own people to ensure that when they lead your party, they also represent the Jamaican people, and there'll be no need to, as they say, swap blood dog for monkey every 5 years.
Yeah. Well, Mark, listen, I think on that note, that's a good note to say that Jamaica is a rich country with lots of gems, the natural resources, the people, the land, the beauty, the sunshine. I mean, over here, everybody's crazy for the sunshine here, the beach, the tourism. I mean, there's so much more. So, but let's celebrate the road towards ultimate independence at this moment, because a lot of people are actually seeing this as a momentous occasion, but the leaders are what we are. We will have to somewhat keep inspiring people, otherwise not to settle for less, not to settle for what we see now, and actually get people to think beyond the box, people to think that government is not a monarchy system whereby they're handing down members of parliament, parliamentary position to their children, because after a while it's going to be like a dynasty. And I think that is why they somewhat maybe rejected Hillary Clinton, because it was becoming like a dynasty. The Kennedys were a dynasty. You know, don't be surprised if Trump becomes a dynasty as well, because therefore that's after a while.
Hardly likely.
You know, you know, in Mugabe in Zimbabwe was talking about he's getting his wife in, creating this dynasty. People are so hung up on power, you know. So Mark, I think on that note, you know, we call it a day, but I believe there's much more to come and much more discussion, especially on the whole third party thing. It's a wave which is happening.
Well, I want to thank you. I want to thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah.
To have this conversation, because we need more people and more avenues like yours.
Yeah.
That explores all options, and I wish others would come on your show.
Yeah.
So we can talk about it. I'm giving you my core belief.
Yes.
Based on objectivity. I will vote. I told Mr. Patterson from the UIC that I am aligned with your policies, not necessarily you. It might sound strange, but my allegiance is to the Jamaican people. And if your policies are in sync with mine, that fosters sustainability and transparency, I'm with you.
Yes.
Any political party that offers that option, that's the party that I will support.
Yes.
And so far, United Independent Congress out of Jamaica is the only one that I will support at this point.
Mm.
So, you know, we'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens. Well, Mark, cheers. But this is actually to a good life, actually, seeking the best for Jamaica. All right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And enjoy the
Take
rest
care,
of
sir.
Yeah, man, we'll do. All right. Peace out, Mark.
All
Thank
right.
you very much.
Okay.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Appreciate it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining with Mark there a moment ago. I'm just going to wrap. I started at 9 o'clock today. It's now at 22:40, almost the time when I normally finish a 10 o'clock show. But I felt it was very important to talk about independence, Jamaica independence. Many people have their different views. Many people have the same views as Mark. I've got similar views to a certain extent. I believe in thinking outside of the box and not just actually just rubber stamping what is dished out to you and having party for party's sake. So without further ado, I want to thank you so much for coming on, and thank you for all the other persons who have been here. I just want to shout out to Olive Bennett, Lorna Foster, Mark again. Thank you so much, Mark, for coming on. Ione William, Jonathan Franklin, Stephen Warner, Yolanda, how are you? Doreen, Wakanda Bank, Wicked, Alan Sewell, Michelle Magic on Instagram, Junior, how are you? Karen Stewart, Christy Marr, British Brains, Kimmy Curse, cousin, Yannick, how are you? Myself, and of course, and all those who came on. And of course, I have to play out. I've got to play out with the great Jamaican song. Lots of people haven't heard it for a while, but I just say, let me just play it, you know. And of course, and all those who came on, and of course, I have to play it.
I'm a born Jamaican, I'm a son of the soil. I love the sea, I love the sun, Lord, I love this land. Don't matter where I go, Jamaica is my home. I love the girls, coconut water and white rum. I hear some people say they are going away, but if I even leave, I won't be going away to stay. I'm a born Jamaican, I'm a son of the soil.
You know, yesterday I had the Solution-Oriented Summit, and this was at the Jamaica Basic School Foundation in the park, and it was wonderful actually. About 7-8 speakers talking about solutions towards knife crime and everything like that. We're going to actually put that out, and we're going to put it out on a video as well, and it's going to be awesome. About 5-6 hours of footages of solution. One of the things that Mark and I talk about a lot is talking is important, but get it to be targeted towards solutions. Get the discussions to be targeted towards solutions. That's what we're talking about, not just regurgitating any crap or whatever like that, but getting the conversations tailored towards solutions. That's the most powerful thing, as much as possible. So without further ado, I want to wish you a good night. Remember to share and like this video, share this video, tell persons about it, and also let me hear your views. Let me hear your views about independent. Do you think Jamaica is independent or not? I know we have the political correct term of independence, but in the real sense of independence, as Mark said down, if you're a child and you live with your parents for years and then you become an adult, you actually leave the home and then you become independent. But if you keep going back for dinner or whatever like that, and actually spending more than you earn or whatever like that, then really are you independent? You see the UK talking about wanting to have their independence from the European Union as well. Everybody's seeking somehow to have their level of self-governance. We talked about the whole aspect of is really the government serving the people, or is the people serving the government? The right way it should be is that the government should be serving the people. The people should be the boss. That is something which is important that people need to know. The government should serve the people. The people are actually the boss. Do you see it like that? Is that how it's happening? Anywhere, the people should be able to sack the government. The people should be able to recall members of parliament, councillors, or whatever like that, in seeking and wanting to have good governance. That is what we're talking about. Very effective and strong good governance. Quality of leadership. Leadership that talks about accountability, responsibility, transparency. Do you see that? You answer that question, not for me. And tell me what you think about that. Do you believe you're independent? What do you think about governance in the sense of members of parliament and families, where families somewhat come into the frame and they're actually passing down like it's a heirloom. In the UK, you got lords, you got some which are hereditary, and some which are appointed. So, what do you think about that? Do you feel that you can make a difference? Do you believe that you can actually come from the soil at this point? Of course, most persons in political position in Jamaica are people of the soil. But do you think that you can come as a fresh person from the soil and actually have that position and step up to the mark? Do you think that's going to challenge, or you believe you got to be in the know? You have to be in the know. You got to be loyal. You got to be kissing ass, if anything like that. Figuratively speaking, not figuratively speaking, but actually literally speaking, in order for that to take place. What's your views on that? It'd be good to hear. Let's have these discussions. Never be afraid to have discourse. Never be afraid. One of the things I talk about is giving a platform for effective discourse, seeking solutions, and impacting actions. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm SYLBOURNE and I'm out, and have a wonderful Independence Day. Jamaica, love you and bless you from the UK to my Jamaicans all over the world. All the best and have a good night. Thank you. Bye-bye. Ha ha ha. Okay, guys, well, that's a wrap. Let's hope Facebook doesn't do anything to my video, if anything. So, see you around and good night. All the best. See ya. Cheers.